Ramesh, male, age 38, Bhutanese, Sanischare refugee camp. I will never forget the day the organization stepped in to help after we had fled from Bhutan. I was 16 at the time and had just escaped from a home where I was accepted by no one. Members of the rebel party that was fighting against the government that oppressed me abducted and starved me. Members of the military that was raiding my village tortured and drove me out of my country. They kidnapped my sisters and left them for dead. They kidnapped my father and tortured him until he was almost dead. When we got to Nepal, we had nothing. No shelter, no food, no clothes. I was convinced my life was over. But then the organization stepped in to help, to provide food and resources. It was something I will never forget. All the people in the camps are receiving the same treatment, and there are problems everywhere. The organizations are doing the best they can, and I am forever grateful to them. They stepped in at a time where there was no one else. But what they give us is not enough. I've had to deal with financial problems my entire life. I've traveled all over in order to find jobs in gardening and construction to provide for my family. There is never enough food, no vegetables, and not enough rice to feed everyone. My children are young. My parents are old. And whenever I feel like I finally started to provide for them in the way that I should, something comes up, death or an illness, something that needs to be paid for. My daughter dropped out of school to elope with a man I had never met in order to relieve some of my financial burden. My son is threatening to drop out of school in order to work in my stead. All I want is to give my children the education I could never afford to have, and I cannot even do that. I need to join my brother in Australia in order to give my children the life they deserve. But I've been waiting to resettle for 4 years. I don't know how much longer I can wait for my process to begin. I've had some very sad moments in my life. And I used to think I was wasting my life. I saw my friends providing for their children and earning money. But I always have to put mine towards some sort of tragedy. If I resettle, I will finally be able to provide for my kids, and I will be satisfied with my life. If my life were a book, the title would be Story of a Sad Life, Ramesh Bahadur Haldia.